Hey, this is Dan Adams, Editor-in-Chief of IGN PC, and we're here today to talk about The Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. You know, while it seems strange that there's actually a sequel to a game with a definitive end, The Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 actually makes great sense. While EA nabbed the Lord of the Rings book license to sit alongside their profitable movie license, they opened up for a huge range of options. So the thing to remember here is that while Mordor was attacking Gondor and Rohan, the lands of the men down in the south, there was this whole other huge war going up north between the goblins and Sauron's other army and the elves and the dwarves. So all of these guys were just pouring out of this fortress called Dol Guldur and out of the Misty Mountains to attack all these lands in the north, and that's pretty much what this game gets to show us for the first time. While not captured in either the books or the movies, these battles are known pretty well by Tolkienites as some of the biggest and most intense during the War of the Ring. Players will once again take a central role in the war by guiding Middle-earth's armies and heroes on a path to victory. The two story-based campaigns chronicling the war in the north are based on a traditional structure which is significantly different from the original game and its War of the Ring style metagame. From what we've played of the campaign, these structured levels, events, and challenges create a terrific flow that the first game missed. With all of the good changes, it's also a good thing that some things are going to remain the same. Specifically the option for players to choose to either save Middle-earth in a good campaign or help crush it under Sauron's boot heel in an alternative evil campaign. Let's face it, when given the chance to put the hurt on some hobbits, we're all going to want to go evil for a little while. Thanks to the focus on the battle in the north, ELA was able to bring 3 new factions into the war. The 2 good factions, the elves and the dwarves, have much different styles of play. The elves are stealthy and quick, and have some of the best heroes, archers, and high damage dealing potential in the game, but suffer from really weak defenses. The dwarves, on the other hand, are very slow and expensive to build up, but have the strongest walls and defenses to accompany their powerful siege machines. And with the inclusion of freely built towns and the easy construction of walls, base building again becomes a very important part of the strategy, especially for these dwarves. The one new evil race, the goblins, are the quickest race in the entire game, with their main army composed almost entirely of dispensable goblin warriors and archers, which are backed up by spider riders, trolls, and awesome mountain giants that are used for sieges. With these 3 new additions and the consolidation of Gondor and Rohan into one Men of the West faction, there are now 6 races total. Balancing these races together will be a tricky proposition for sure, but what we've played is very promising, especially for multiplayer matches that can force players to adjust their tactics drastically depending on which enemy they're fighting. While these multiplayer skirmish games should be fast and exciting, Battle for Middle-earth 2 will also include a multiplayer version of the War of the Ring mode. War of the Ring is a Risk-style game set over the entirety of Middle-earth, where players will take turns moving armies from territory to territory to gain advantage and eventually overwhelm the enemy and conquer the entire world. These games can last a long time, so players can choose whether or not to fight individual battles out on a tactical level or just let the computer auto-resolve them. While Battle for Middle-earth 2 allows players to control any of the major heroes from the series of books during the campaign, multiplayer, and War of the Ring, players can choose to create a custom hero with different attributes, powers, abilities, and looks to use in a single and multiplayer War of the Ring and skirmish games. Usually players will get RTS games down to a science where they know exactly what's going to happen, and this custom hero thing will actually add a huge wild card into the game that will throw players for a loop. With so many different improvements and additions, ELA looks to have created a game that should draw back many of the RTS gamers that were turned off by the original game's simplicity. Look for Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2 to hit stores February 28th.